Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you with another video. All right, so haven't done a therapy session in about a day or 2 days, however long it's been. It's windy as heck out here, about 66 degrees. So I got my Laker jacket on, sweater on rather. Repping for the squad, 4-game winning streak. Pretty happy about that. And just trying to maintain. Man, I got checked into the room pretty good 2 days ago. The only thing I got to complain about is the smell. It does not smell good in there at all. But I've been having my scented candle pretty much burning non-stop since I got in the room. And of course air it out like I always do. But decided to pretty much stay home yesterday. Didn't really do a whole lot. Worked on my playlist, finished the playlist for this particular week. The K-List 401. Which was pretty solid. It's feeling okay, not 100%. Still working through my stomach issues and stuff like that. But, I had to kind of rest yesterday just simply because the Lakers played an early game. And, of course, I wanted to be ready for that. And I didn't really need to particularly purchase anything. So I just stayed home and worked on my playlist and stuff like that. By the time I was done with the playlist, the game was like an hour away, so I did my 100 squat regiment to get some exercise, and by the time that was over with, the game was starting, so it led up perfectly. But today they got another early game the very next day, 30 minutes later than the last one, so I got some things I need to purchase. I can't just sit around the house today, even if I would otherwise choose to. And plus tomorrow is Bible study, so it's 3 straight days of trying to keep myself in the house before 4:30, so I don't really love this schedule. The Lakers are a bit of an inconvenience when they have these games early, as you guys know. I complain about it every time, but this is what's going on right now, so just got to deal with it. But yeah, man, ain't too much of a complaining to go for myself. I'm glad to be out. I need the fresh air. I did not necessarily want to be in the house yesterday like that. I really didn't. But as I said, it was necessary that I just get some exercise, so I did what I had to do in the house yesterday. But yeah, man, aside from that, ain't much going on. I was surprised I didn't make any therapy sessions, but of course the Laker videos are there. I've been leaving those left and right since there's so much to talk about with the team. As you can see, I decided this is a rare day where I decided not to shave my head, even though it could use it. So y'all can see how funny the hairline's looking these days, which I honestly just didn't feel like shaving, man. I really didn't. My stomach was bothering me to that degree to where I was like, man, I don't want to do anything extra. Let me shower and let me eat. And by the time I was done eating, I'm like, let's just get out of here. So, yeah, man, just health, man. It's real health crap going on with me these days. I can't lie to you. I'm not 100%. But, the body's reacting well to the exercise I'm doing. It hasn't stopped me from doing anything it never does. And usually after the day's walk that I do, I'm usually 100% by the time I get home. So I suspect this will be similar. But yeah, man, I've been paying attention to my interests and all the distractions that are here for us in the Western world to pay attention to. That's really what it is. A little bit too much of that crap, to be honest with you. I've been enjoying it, but it's kind of pulled me away from what some of the other things that are most important that I've been paying attention to and lending my voice to. But I can legitimately say that, this morning I saw some devastating stuff as usual, and the course of this genocide continues. They bombed a school this morning and did an air strike on a school full of children in Gaza. It's carnage. More of what it is that we've been seeing for the last 410 days, 412 days, whatever we're at right now. It's been over a year. And it's just a bunch of carnage, man. It's a bunch of dead bodies all over the place, children, women. It's just absolutely ridiculous, man. Honestly, it's ridiculous. When you see this crap in your phone, and you continue to see these individuals try to justify it or act like it's not happening, or some variation of both in some weird way. You continue to see people try to, with the platforms that the Zionists control, they continue to try to mold what it is that they are supporting into being what's normal, and ultimately, of course, vilifying those who would otherwise, condemn it, I guess is the word I would say. And so you see Twitch, somebody posted a couple days ago that Twitch is now making it so that you can no longer say the word Zionist because it is offensive. But the president said he was happily a Zionist. The President Biden, he's like, I'm a Zionist. Like, I guess it's not a bad word, or is it? It's only a bad word when people start defining it as something that ultimately does what Zionists do, which is colonize entire lands and eradicating the entire people from those lands. Once you start pointing out what it is that they do, then all of a sudden we're slandering them. No, we're just pointing out the truth. It's not slander. Slander would be us telling lies. You're the one telling lies about what they're doing and saying that they're decent human beings. Telling the truth about them suddenly becomes what is unacceptable. So, like I said, they're trying to use their platforms to mold the world to be what they want it to be, but they can't change the opinions of people who've been witnessing what it is they've been doing. You know what I mean? They can't sway us from the truth just because they use all of their platforms to try to back us into only being able to say the narratives that they respect. Those narratives, they don't reflect what is taking place. They don't reflect the reality. They just reflect the intention of those who want to get away with it, and exposes their deviousness in regards to being willing to change the narrative to what it is they want it to be. But a narrative can only change if you can hide the reality of those actions that the narrative is otherwise masking. If you can't hide those realities, if you can't effectively keep us from seeing what the narrative is supposed to cloak, then obviously it doesn't matter what it is that we've spoken. You still are being seen for what it is that you are. So you can tell us we can't call you Zionists. You can tell us we're being anti-Semitic by not supporting your intentions. You could call us terrorists for waving a flag and demanding that Palestinian people have an opportunity to a right to live and a right to self-determination. You can do everything you can do because it's within your power to do so. It doesn't mean that you've effectively changed the reality. It just means that you're corrupt enough to use what it is you control to box in all of us who would otherwise point out the reality of what it is that we see. It doesn't change the damn thing. It don't change the conversation in the streets. It doesn't change the conversation in the YouTube streets. You can effectively keep the masses from hearing the truth all at once, but the conversation is being spread all over the place. There's ventilation in the situation, essentially what I'm saying. That information is still being spread. We're still telling each other in real time what you're doing. You bombed the school this morning. Period. That's what you did. You don't want to be called Zionist? Whatever you want to call yourself. Call yourself Mickey Mouse. It doesn't matter. You, Mickey Mouse, bombed the damn school. You understand what I'm saying? It don't matter. The language matters to you because you guys react so poorly to language being pointed at you. Language is just a way to describe the realities around us. You guys like to mold language to try to mold the people around you and the people who speak about you to telling lies about you as you tell lies about yourself. But language only matters as much as those who understand it any damn way. I can speak gibberish and it only matters to me. I can speak a foreign language to you that you don't know and you wouldn't be nothing but speech. If it don't have any represented behaviors and actions behind it, then it's just noise. So the emphasis on language when it comes to these people is a bit overstated in regards to how they behave about it. You can't call us this. Why? Does it hurt your feelings? Those feelings being hurt is not changing a damn thing about the reality of the circumstances. There are people being hurt. Lives ending because of your hurt feelings. And you want us, and what matters so much to you is that you're spoken of a certain way, as you do nothing to earn the right to be spoken of in a highly manner. Doesn't matter what the truth is so long as you can stand behind the words and make you feel better, Zionists. I'm going to be completely honest with you. It doesn't really hold much weight at all in the grand scheme of things. It's just words, empty. Like telling all of us we're on the wrong side of history. How? We want to see people survive, you're killing people. People are going to tell the story of the people you've killed and the suffering that came with it, and therefore your reputation sours. You can't do anything about that. You can't change the reality of the representation of the words that are spoken. You can change the meaning of the words, but language is just as good as it's understood. It don't hold any weight if nobody understands what you're saying. If they can't speak the language, then I'm just talking. It ain't offensive, it ain't celebratory, it's just talk. And the emptiness of these individuals in regards to their talk is what ultimately they put a lot of emphasis on the emptiness of such. And they proceed to kill people. That is what holds weight. If no one ever says another word about one another or about you, it doesn't change the fact that we're still well within our view seeing what you're doing. Actions speak louder than words. Someone forgot to teach these people that. Actions. Your activity. And intentionally trying to silence people who would otherwise use words to tell the truth about the surroundings and circumstances from which they see. You're suppressing of them. That's an action. It speaks lowly of your character. It speaks of your inability to be able to stand within your own truth. That speaks louder than any word that would otherwise describe you. That's an understanding about you. That understanding doesn't even need to be spoken on. You ever heard this saying, what is understood doesn't need to be spoken? Yeah, that's true. You can effectively suppress all of us from saying whatever it is that will hurt your feelings. We're still going to move in a way that allows for us amongst one another to treat you and view upon you the way your actions would otherwise describe yourself, not the words that you force us to say, or worse off, words that you refuse to allow us to say. And words don't even have to be spoken. And change the truth. You can say up is down. I still got to move in the direction for which that makes sense. We can change the meaning of everything we talk about, but if we pour oil on the water, it's not going to mix. I can't will myself through language into a space where those two things coincide with one another. So that's the problem with these folks, man. That's the problem with them. And the consequences that come from behaving this way are going to be at their doorstep sooner than later. Trying to back the world into a space where language matters so much but actions don't. No, that's not how the world works. You're moving against the grain of natural and natural things. And so that's my thing with them. They own a lot, and we honor that the fact that they own a lot. But such things have to be honored. You could say you own something, like for example, the Palestinians are saying they own the land, and then you proceed to take it from them. So what does the ownership really mean? Their rights to the land only matter as much as their ability to defend it. That's what you're showing us, Zionists, through your actions toward them. So that applies to yourself as well. When you start talking about trying to mold your reputation away from your actions, that stands too with you. We see what you do. Some of us are going to call it out, others are not, but we all going to sit back with that in our thoughts, in our minds, and in our memories of what it is you've actually shown us. You can will the world to be fake around you, everybody pretending, everybody being yes men for you. If that's the world you want to live in, where there's no genuine energy pointed at you, go for it. It's very empty. You can't trust anything in that environment. There's no truth to it. Therefore, the direction you're pointed in could potentially be backwards. That's what happens when you will the truth away from yourself and believe your own lies. You end up moving in directions that have you going in the opposite direction of what it is you need to go, because you won't let truth in. Hence what it is that they're doing right now. Backing themselves into spaces that allow for them to be the worst people amongst us, the worst people amongst any group of people. Arguably the worst people who've ever walked the earth. How do you back yourself into such a label, if not for you continuing to each and every opportunity believe a lie that would allow you to think that that's something you should allow yourself to become. And they believe their own lies, which is why they try to will us into a space where we're lying for them, so that they can cope with the false reality that they ultimately inhabit all day, all damn night. That is not anything that you can actually do anything with. See, the wisdom behind not following lies has just been described. You don't want to follow lies because it moves you in a direction that doesn't allow you to align with anything that will actually have substance to it. You know, I understand that I can't walk off the Grand Canyon because I'm going to fall to my doom. But if I live a lie that tells me I have wings, or that the Grand Canyon, if I drop to the bottom of it, it's going to have a buoyancy to it that's going to save my life, then I can believe that lie all the way to my death. It's not harmless allowing yourself to live in complete and utter denial about the realities of your intentions, the reality of your surroundings, the reality of the support that you have, or lack thereof. That's not harmless. You can stay in a space where everyone around you pretends, but it won't tell the truth about the lens that you're in. It won't tell the truth about the lens that you're seeing through. It won't tell the truth about what happens to you. You learn nothing from the lies. You just feel better about it. Your fate still remains the same. And so that's what I'm saying in regards to these people. Y'all keep doing these type of things, and your reputation continues to build from it. Not the reputation you force us into, but the reputation that you earn. That you can't language your way and mental gymnastics your way away from. You cannot. Even animals see your behavior. You have a reputation with those who don't speak at all. When they look at you with contempt, just like we look at you in contempt, you understand what the words would otherwise describe if we were to be able to. That you are a shameful bunch. You're a disgraced bunch. You are deserving of the worst of things because of what it is you engage in and support. You use all of your power to attack those who haven't attacked you, and then furthermore smear them into a reputation that otherwise doesn't represent their actions. No different than the reputation you try to hold for yourself with language that doesn't represent yours. No matter how many people you have pretending with you, for you, it doesn't change anything. No matter how much of what it is you control based on your lies and the complicit nature of those who would be willing to play along with you, you still lying, and those behaviors still represent your actual reputation and the contempt behind the eyes of those who stare at you as you do them. And so I'm telling anybody that'll listen to me, if I never say another word, and if no one ever speaks to them again, what it is that they've done has earned them a reputation of contempt in the eyes of everyone who's paid attention to it. Human being and animal alike. You want to bomb schools and hurt children? You want to manipulate platforms so people can't speak the truth about what it is that you're doing? You want to mobilize all of what it is that you control in order to make it so that people can't speak on the catastrophe that you've created with your intentions? It does not change the fact that those intentions have brought about catastrophe. You want to live in a space where you have to spend an enormous amount of money on excess security to maintain your security because of the actions that you've created? If that's something you want to spend your budget on, go for it. Because that's what's going to have to be required in order to secure what it is that you're stealing. Now that the whole world has witnessed what it is that it took to build that, it's never going to be a time where it's safe for you to actually do so. You're going to need to spend so much money on security and so much money on barriers just to assure that you're safe when you're living in that lie. That's the problem. amongst other things, but that's one of the major problems of living a lie. And if you believe that lie strong enough, you may not actually purchase that security. If you can't absorb the truth about yourself, you may actually leave yourself vulnerable for the consequences that come with doing the things that you're doing while nobody is allowed to speak on it. That's the danger with living in denial as a people. You think you're safe when you're not. You think people love you for what it is that you love yourself for, when in actuality, you've done nothing but create that contempt and that revenge desire. So you walk around like you're fine, and then you end up coming to the consequences that come with people not liking you very much for the things that they've seen you do. Not things they heard you do, but things that they've witnessed in their phone as they continue to scroll. Things that effectively bled through all of what it is that you try to conspire away from our visuals, away from our ability to speak about. The stuff that we saw, that you didn't do a good job of hiding, yeah. That you couldn't figure out if you believed you were doing enough to see the fruit and whether or not it was important to hide from everybody else, because you were in such denial about your own behaviors that you didn't really do a great job of actually hiding those behaviors. Yeah, that type of insanity is going to lead you to your doom. We got a whole world of people that love the resistance, who didn't even know who the resistance was, wasn't aware of Hamas, don't know nothing about these folks before this came about. You open their eyes, you push them down that rabbit hole. If for other reason for trying your very best to silence people in regards to words like Zionist. All you did was create the question, why can't I say this? And as they find out why, then they know what they need to know. On one hand, you got these politicians talking about, you heard a politician talking about, I refuse to say the word settler. On the other hand, you got people saying on those lands they are settlers and proud of being settlers. Telling you can't say Zionist, and then you got the president up here saying he's a proud Zionist. Like, whoa, wait a minute. And what type of backwards world are you trying to force us into? A conundrum that can only be described in the N-word that my people use. In celebration of ourselves, but ultimately refusing to allow anyone else to say it. It's the only other thing that I can think of that is more contradictory than the behavior of the Zionists today. I just want a line. I believe in God, an actual God. And two, I believe in the resilience of the people. I believe in the truth adding up and changing the minds of those who've been living in darkness without the understanding of what truth actually is. Once they get it, they'll understand why they need to move against you. I believe in that deeply. While you're trying to mold the world to lie along with you. They're going to lie along with you for sure as you die. If they continue that process, they're going to have the same fate as you. Lying in a damn coffin just like y'all are going to be for the actions of what it is that you've done to the Palestinians. And the actions of what you've done to the Lebanese people, and the actions of what you did to the Syrian people, and the actions of what you did to everybody else you've done this to. That lying equals lying for sure. And I need most of the people who follow me who happen to align with Israel to be honest and tell the truth that they haven't really done a whole lot of thinking. You've done a whole lot of convincing other people they haven't been thinking as they've been doing their homework. But have you done the critical thinking necessary to know for a fact that what you're doing is right? Or are you just listening to people you agree with, telling you that it's right, and then proceeding to see how their influence has allowed them to appear to be on the winning side? Have you actually done critical thinking in regards to seeing if this makes any damn sense? For the betterment of your security, for the betterment of your reputation, for the betterment of your last name, for the betterment of your people? Are you sure what they're doing is right? Because if you say yes, I know that you're lying to yourself. And living in a space of lies and other applications of life doesn't make much sense, as we've already described. So while you're doing your very best to convince me that the homework I've done in regards to what you're doing holds no validity, and that your language away from that truth more so holds weight in a world, an actual world with gravity and stuff, I ask you and I apply to you the question, are you sure you've done your critical thinking? Are you sure you have thought independently about what it is that you're supporting and lined up everything about it that would otherwise benefit what matters most to you? Are you sure? Because many of you, I can guarantee, are just following others that you trust in regards to what it is they're telling you is right. That's all you're doing. You haven't thought about this. You've done a great deal of listening to others tell you how to maneuver in this circumstance so that what it is you're doing can align. But have you thought about if it makes any sense to actually get to do it? Does it really make sense? Does this really add up to what it is that you're hoping and praying for? A peaceful land, a greater Israel. Are you sure it leads to the peace that you think it does? And does this behavior in any other application of life yield the results of the dream that you have in your mind? That's what I need people like Michael Rappaport and Jerry Seinfeld to really be honest with themselves about. While you're sitting here trying to move in the way that aligns with your people so that you don't seem like a coon of whatever kind you won't want to be seen as. Because that's really what this comes down to. A lot of people just want to move with their people. And I get it. You're going to have to, within aligning with your people, lie to people like me and try to make us look crazy in regards to what we're doing. But between the truth of those who understand without speaking, you know what you're doing is trying to convince me I'm crazy, as I know what you're doing is something that is crazy. And as we sit here in this space without actually speaking on these things to one another, I asked you, without language, with language, however best to get the truth into your brain, are you sure you're doing enough critical thinking in regards to what it is that comes of what it is that you are supporting? Because I'm telling you, you are living in a world that you don't know. A world that you did not grow up in. The whole world didn't know of your people as genociders. Most of the world didn't even know where you were at in regards to where it is that you stand among certain things. We don't necessarily understand much other than that a lot of your people control a lot of things. But we didn't know the truth about you. This truth has now been revealed to us while you like to live in spaces that are untrue altogether. Are you sure you've done enough thinking? Because the whole I know you are, but what am I spiel? We got to put that to the side in regards to the conversation we're having. Because you're not convincing me I'm any crazier than I'm convincing you that you shouldn't be doing this. So we will waste our time if we continue to do this whole, oh, you're so far away from history. Oh, we just want peace. Oh, the Palestinian people are trying to hurt us. All of that, those lies right there, that space of mind, you know that's bullshit, and I know that's bullshit. So can we put that aside and have a real conversation? You can run that game on people who don't know what's going on, and that's fine. If that's what you got to do to align, I'm not even going to judge you in this conversation. I just want to step away from that conversation because I know the truth. I am aware. And I know you are aware. And I just want to know, are you sure you're doing the right thing here? Because you got a world full of people that are very, very hurt by what you've done. Forget pissed off, forget angry, forget vengeful. We're hurt. We're saddened by what we're seeing you putting these people through. The Palestinian people have been humanized in a way that maybe you're not privy to based on your way of viewing them, for whatever way or how that goes. You haven't been privy to the humanity in those people. Hey, I can't force you to see what I see in them. All I can tell you is that I see them that way, and it's changed the world for you because of it. It has changed things for you. We weren't paying attention to them hardly at all. Now we are, and we see how decent of people they are, while you do whatever it is you do in the name of whatever lies you want to believe in and want us to believe in. So I'm asking you, can you accept the fact that I don't believe what you believe and that I've seen enough evidence otherwise to convince me that what you're saying isn't true? Can you absorb that? So that we can have a real conversation about things that are actual, that actually align mathematically? Or are we going to continue to do a song and dance that allows you to live in denial? That allows you to live in a space that gets you off condemning people who are just trying to survive. as you continue to use language to try to mold them away from the reputation that they've earned, as you do yourself with your intentions. And look at all the people who support you, each and every case. How violent are they? How irrational are they in other aspects of their life? How fair are they in other aspects of their life? Not very, based on the cases I've seen. A lot of the people who support you support the suffering of many human beings, not just those you appointed at, maybe even yourself. You got psychopaths and unfair individuals and cruel individuals and demented psychopathic type people who are supporting what it is you're doing. Not rational individuals, not people who are fair, not people who are going to pull you out of a hole when you're stuck in one, but the people who wouldn't piss on a fire to put you out. Those are the people that are following you and supporting you, Israel. So I'm asking you, are you sure? Are you sure you got it right? While you've allowed yourself to be convinced of these different ideals about who it is that's beneath you, are you seeing what manifests from the energy that you're engaging in? You see millions of people all over the world protest against what it is that you ultimately believe is your right to do. It brings about pain and suffering to people that we perceive are innocent people. Are you sure you're moving in the right direction? Because if you're counting on us being indifferent, if you're counting on us supporting you and having our own interests wrapped up in what it is that you think is and believe, or what it is that you control and your power, if that's what you're leaning on to allow for you to move in a way that allows for you to traumatize us for a whole year and some change and even more some, in ways that would ultimately make us feel irresponsible for living in these times without doing something about it as you harm children. You understand what I'm saying? Are you sure you're making a decision that aligns with the peace that you ultimately want? Or are you not weaponizing your own beliefs against your very own future? How safe is Greater Israel when the only people you can trust are people that you've paid to align with you? And the evil, insane, and unfair individuals that are demented enough to align with your unfair treatment of others. Those are the only people who support you on this. Everybody else is either in the dark or too afraid to stand up for what they should, for whatever their set of their own reasons. And that fear is something that you have to rely upon, will last forevermore, which I can tell you that's not necessarily how fear works. People overcome fear every day, B. People look themselves in the mirror and change every day. Regret themselves and turn coat on circumstances that otherwise have them compromised all the time. So I'm asking you, are you sure you can pull this off and that it's good for you? While you're telling all of us that we're on the wrong side of history. I'm telling you that you're walking straight off of the Grand Canyon. No parachute, just your body. And you told everybody that they should agree that they should do it too. And it's only a few of us who understand we shouldn't. But we're going to watch all y'all fall off that damn cliff. And that's exactly what it's going to be. So I'm asking you, many times over, so that this truth can align in your brain as you continue to believe things that are not true. Are you sure you should be committing genocide against Palestinian people? While all of us are watching, or when no one's watching? Are you sure that those books that you align with that tell you to treat people poorly and that you're better than everybody else is going to yield you the type of response that you are hoping to see in this life for all time? Because based on the behavior of those alive today who are paying attention to it, I don't see the evidence that you're looking at. And most importantly, I see plenty of evidence of you living in lies constantly in regards to what it is that you are willing to do. Living in lies. Effectively making it so that you're not very credible when considered such things. When considering whether or not you see the truth in this area. That you will live in lies in others does not provide me the confidence that you would be able to even comprehend what it is I'm saying right now. let alone be able to absorb it and consider it in regards to what it is that you are trying to figure out. You're counting on a lot of things that are unstable to hold the environment where you can continue moving this way. Counting on a lot of things. And maybe you have a magic button that can blow it all up. But damn it, I'm telling you, at the end of this, if that's what it comes down to, that's probably what you're going to see is needed to be in order for you to continue in the way that you want to. You're going to have to tear everything up. Because people are going to continue to smear your name. Everywhere you go, all over the world, you're going to continue to be attacked. People are going to be dreaming up new ways of infiltrating what it is you have going on so it can be destroyed from the inside out just because you've inspired such by killing children and making us all watch it. Not to mention the other atrocities that are being unearthed every day. Your inhumane behavior and you're coinciding with helping yourselves cope with it in so many devious ways. It ain't gonna leave you nowhere closer to the reputation that you ultimately are used to. You don't have enough people paid off and afraid to accomplish that. You don't have enough. There ain't enough governments in the world to make a person like myself unsee what it is that you've done. You don't own enough platforms to make it so that the eyes of contempt aren't pointed at you regardless of how many people are able to speak the truth. You don't own enough to make people afraid of losing what it is that they're holding on to in a way that doesn't spread this word from here on out. People are going to tell the truth about you. Your flag is a swastika now. There's no turning back from that. And to the people who you've spoken to that may not have much morality to themselves, you have shown them exactly what they need to do to neutralize you by pointing that same behavior at people that you deem are as crazy as you actually are, as devious and as evil and as homicidal as you actually are. You're telling those crazy individuals exactly how to stop you by killing your children before they get a chance to grow into the evil people that you raised them to be. The application of what you've shown is effectively you speaking without understanding that you've told anybody and everybody exactly what needs to happen in order to stop you. That's the scary part about all of this for you. That because you live in such a strange denial where you control everything, and you've shown us what it is that you think should be done in regards to people who you believe are terrorists, while displaying yourselves as terrorists, you've effectively shown us how to stop you. You've shown us how you deserve to be treated by applying your very own self to the treatment of the people that you intend to victimize. You've shown us all. The sane of us who don't want to see anything happen to your children, and the crazy of us who would love nothing more than to see horrible things happen to your children. This is what you've done, Israel. This is what you've done. I worry for the innocent children in your race. I worry for them. While you're raising them to believe that they're going to continue to be in control of the world, as the world changes and you guys don't effectively realize the world is changing because you want to allow that truth to come in, you're pointing all of the world's most just demented hatred at yourselves. All of the worst hatred that someone could point at anybody, you're going to have it so that good people can justify that hatred being pointed at you. It's extremely dangerous behavior, man. Extremely dangerous behavior. Are you sure what it is that you're holding on to will hold? Israel. That's what I'm saying to you. That's exactly what I'm saying to the Zionists. Are you sure what it is that you rely upon is sturdy enough to keep you safe? Because I'm telling you, I'm certain it is not. I'm certain it is not. Pride cometh before the fall. All these different wisdom,
cliche statements that have been made. It's like you never heard any of them before. It's like you never allowed them to apply to your own lives, to your own people. It's a lot of things that you're doing that people outside of your race, outside of your agreement, your ideologies, don't do for a reason. It's not because they think any less of themselves. It's because they know the wisdom behind not doing those things. They know they shouldn't do those things. The privilege of not believing themselves to be better than anybody else allows them the opportunity to not make decisions that people like you, who believe they're better than everybody else, are willing to make. Decisions that yield horrible consequences for their people. Horrible consequences for them historically. Horrible consequences for them even in the short term in regards to things. And that you have the support that you have lies to you just the same. It leads you in the wrong direction. It leads you to a space where you think you can walk off the Grand Canyon and be safe. The people who are supporting you don't love you at all, Israel. They don't love you at all, Zionists. They're watching you make very, very horrible mistakes that ultimately make it so that you're less safe in the world that you're in. And then furthermore, allow you to run around like you're the biggest, baddest wolf, when really you're not built like that. You're not built like that. For you to be as aggressive as you are, as I've already said, y'all gonna have to push that magic button that destroys everything eventually. That's what you're gonna have to do. You ain't gonna be able to walk amongst bigger men. You ain't gonna be able to walk across more vicious, more battle-tested minds. With what it is they've seen you do, you can't defend yourself against that. And your denial about you and your lack of self-awareness in regards to that makes the world very dangerous for you. You guys fear things that a lot of people don't fear, which is why you behave the way you do. That fear is going to be debilitating for you when you come up against those who would hold you accountable for it. You're seeing that already with the resistance in Hamas. Imagine the whole world full of Hamases. Because that's exactly what you're giving birth to. A whole world full of us. And I say us with clear understanding that you've painted Hamas out to be something that they're not. Because if it weren't for your efforts in colonizing against those people and furthermore killing them off, taking their land, there would be no reason for them to be aggressive toward you. They are innocent in my view. Provoked into whatever wrongdoings that you may accuse them of that might actually have some truth aligned to it, which probably ain't very much. Who's going to tell Israel that enough is enough? Who's going to love them enough to say, yo, hey, you're killing yourself. Slow down. Yeah, I get it. You think you're better than everybody else. That's cool. But this is not going to work. Yeah, I know a lot of people do support you. You have a lot of what you need in order to mold the world to speak the way you want them to speak. But that's not going to keep the people from moving the way they're going to move. Life is going to get worse for you. Your homes aren't going to be as safe. Your food ain't going to be as, it's going to be weird stuff happening to your food. People going to be poisoning you when you go places. When they find out where you're from, they're going to keep you out of there. Doors are going to close that you've never seen before being closed to your people. Things you thought you control, you're going to find out are going to deteriorate overnight. Because of this ideology to destroy individuals and live in denial about what it is that you're doing and how much how necessary it is. You're going to lose a lot. A lot more than probably you've even taken from others. The Palestinians, you've made them all martyrs. People support them. People are rising up all over the world in support of them in regards to their own plight. You're giving confidence to indigenous people all over the world. That's the scary thing for you. You got new people who are starting to gain confidence for their own self-determination based on what it is that they're seeing you do to these people and how the support is coming their way. You got more people talking about all different types of things. They're going to point more of the same at you. More of the same. You cannot effectively defend against the reality of your behavior and ultimately the inspiration that it gives to others as they view it, as they are witnesses to your crimes. They grow inspired. So this is what I'm telling you. The world is waking up every day, not only to make it hard for you, but for anybody who would ever try to do what it is that you do. And you own this corporation, you own that corporation. You can keep people from talking about you a certain way, do what it is that you control in regards to these platforms. You can silence voices, you can mobilize the police against protesters, you can do a million different things. But what you cannot do is make people unsee what you've made them view. We saw what you did to the school there. We saw what you did to Hen. We saw what you did in all these different situations. We're watching, we're seeing this. And that you are willing to live in denial does not change our view on those circumstances. It doesn't change that we've seen them and that we were traumatized by them, that we have nightmares about them. That you make us not speak about it does not keep us from reliving those images. No, thank you. I appreciate it. It doesn't do anything to help you undo the damage you've done. That's what I'm telling y'all. And you give no credence to a person who's viewing it because I don't have money, because I'm not wearing one of your little hats, because I don't pray like you, and all these other things that ultimately keep the wisdom that I have in my heart from effectively reaching your brain and yours. That is not a superpower. I'm telling you right now. For all those who engage in that behavior of separating themselves from those with different perspectives, that's not a superpower, friend. That is something that ultimately hurts you. That keeps you from effectively allowing other perspectives from different angles that you've never lived, from providing you understanding of what's behind those doors you've never been. You need that intel. You need that perspective. You need the understanding of that angle. And that you engage in so much behavior that allows for you to live without actually giving any credence to that just means that you're leading yourself down a path of the unknown. And everything that comes with that, you don't know. That's the point. BDL 44. Thank you all for watching. Wow.